It's a brand new day.
That's right.
Stephanie J.
The day that the Lord has made.
Okay, let's go. Yo, let the song play. What? Listen up to what you gotta say. Spin a hit, get with it. It's your daily bread. Word is out from the mouth. What's it all about? Powerful coming through. Wanna get with you. Another opportunity for a positive change. We will sustain your brain, brain. A minister from Philadelphia. Bible teacher and a preacher. Seeker, get your guard on. Gospel songs. Words born like a chorus. She carries on.
Gotta keep it
Brand new day. Stephanie J. Listen up, word up. What I got to say. Yo, what I got to say. Talking about the Stephanie J. Yo,
That's me.
you should have your attention for about an hour. Ship a shower with the gospel power. Seeking what you need to know. Take it from the radio. Check out the good gap to go. Tally ho, tally ho, tally ho.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time is most appropriate as you are tuning in. Welcome to a brand new day with Stephanie J. I am just happy to have another day. Why? Because this is the day that the Lord hath made, and I should rejoice and be glad in it. And so should you. Why? Because it's a gift. God has gifted us another day. And I hope you are enjoying it, whatever you are doing at this very moment. I thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you taking the time to tune in to my podcast. And so I am going to be a little less formal, probably over these next few episodes. I have many things that I wanted to share and talk about. I have been on the go. These last few days have been pretty adventurous, Christian, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So,
Very.
yes, I have my favorite 11-year-old by me. He's taking a break from his lessons just to talk about a few things that I wanted to talk about. And I guess I'm mobile casting right now. I had some issues on my desktop a few days ago and I didn't get it straight. And so I thought, well, instead of not podcasting at all, let me go ahead and use my mobile devices. And so I have my music on the iPhone, and then I also have, my tablet, and I have the apps on each device. So I'm going to try to work it out this way. And instead of going up to the studio closet because my son is in the midst of his lessons, I decided to go to the closet downstairs, underneath the stairs. And so Christian was so wonderful in helping me set up, as he calls, my little throne. And actually, it used to be a storage closet, but I think it's a little bit of everything now. And it's a nice art wall. You have a lot of nice pictures up here. Christian has painted and drawn. I see some that my husband has put up, and then for years he has been keeping a growth chart for Christian. I say you've grown quite a bit from, I think, January 12th, 2012 was the first time he measured you. You were just a little guy, and all the way up to April 8th, 2020. Yeah, so all right. Before I get into what I wanted to talk about, or actually I should say do today, I wanted to put a spotlight on an organization. And this organization is one that most people are probably familiar with, and it is St. Jude Children's Hospital. So we're going to spotlight them today, right, Krish?
Yes.
All right. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because this is an organization that I have been donating to for many years. It is such a good organization, and what they do is they help sick children who have various cancers and uh, leukemias and things of this nature. And it was founded by Mr. Thomas. I can't think of his name right now. And the organization is headed now by his daughter, Marlo Thomas. And I was looking at the mail the other day because, I was going to make a contribution. So normally I just sit it on the counter. And I mentioned to Christian, I said, well, normally I take at least $3 to $5 from him, and I'll just add it to, my contribution. And he laughed. He said, Mommy, that $3, $5, he said, that's nothing. He said, I have so much more money than that. So he said, just take $10. So I said, oh, wow, okay. That's what you want to do? You sure? He said, yes, Mommy, that's not a big deal. And then he came upstairs about 10 minutes later, and he had something that he wanted to add to that. And so I just thought it would be great to let him share his feelings about this organization and why he wanted to contribute more. Go ahead, Krish.
Because, as you know, on my birthday, I got $50 in a card, and I got a lot of change and a lot of money saved up. So I got so much, and these kids have so little. I figured I can give more than that, because, $3, $5, that's pretty cheap. I figured I can give more than that for these kids who have much less than I do.
Okay. Well, I think that that's a good attitude to have. And you mentioned how much you have, so many toys, and, your birthday was like Christmas. So you are, yes, really a blessed child. And as a mom, for me, what always drew me to the organization and organizations like this and wanting to be a part of what they were doing is because I've been so blessed to have healthy children. And so other than an occasional cold or ringworm when they were attending daycare, things like that, a few incidents, I don't know what it's like to have a sick child. And so my heart really does go out to these families. And so it really meant a lot for you to want to contribute as well. And one more thing you said to me when you came upstairs, do you remember what you told me about not wanting credit because what was that about?
It was because I wanted to tell her I'm not doing it for blessings and honor. I'm not doing it so she can say, now I said that you can give $3 to $5, and most children would have did that, but you gave 10. That's really good. I'm gonna reward you. No, I just wanted to do it because I felt I could give more, and I should give more since I have so much more. I'm not doing it for credit and honor and glory and stuff.
Okay. Well, I think it's great nonetheless. And so we did submit our donations, and it's something that we do as much as we possibly can. And so I just wanted to put that out there for those of you who have not heard of St. Jude, or maybe you've never heard or come across the fundraisers that they do. I don't know if you receive their mail, because I receive correspondence and little gifts all the time from them. So it is definitely an organization worth checking out. And so I'm going to move on and segue really quick into our weekend adventures.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see. We were out Friday, but we pretty much stayed in our area. But then Saturday was pretty adventurous because we traveled over to DC. We went over to attend an event, and because of the traffic and different things, we were not able to do what I had planned, and I didn't want to turn around and come home. So We drove and we drove and we took in a lot of scenery. We ended up coming back past the White House and the monument and all of that. But we see that stuff all the time. So I decided this time to take some different roads. And boy, we saw some really beautiful homes and neighborhoods. And what I liked about it was that it's so post-COVID, the way things are being opened up again. But what I noticed, all of the restaurants were serving people outdoors. And so not just curbside, but even in the streets, some of the streets were cut down because the tables were lined up. But all I saw were people just enjoying the beautiful weather, dining out, just having a good time. I didn't see a whole lot of social distancing, but it was such a beautiful vibe and atmosphere all around. And so we ended up staying out in DC for several more hours. But then by late afternoon, it still was so beautiful. I just wasn't ready to come home. And so we did some more driving, came back through Virginia. I did not want to come back to our area. So we found some other areas, and Mom did what she does, found some place to shop. I didn't really get out of control, did I? Just bought a few things.
Not really.
Yeah, some things were for you.
I was a little impatient.
But so we were out the entire day. When we came back, it was dark. And we just really had a beautiful, beautiful day out. And so whenever that happens, I am just grateful. And I hope you can identify with that because of the times that we live in. Anytime that you can just have some fun or just enjoy a peaceful day, man, it's a blessing. And so Sunday we kept it pretty low key because I knew that we had a field trip planned, and I had been planning this for some time. I wanted to surprise Christian. And so we got up early in the morning and we left out because we had to travel a good distance, but we finally made it to the zoo.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He just turned 11 and he's never been to a zoo, even with all of the various places that we've been. And we have tried a few times, and my husband definitely was pushing for the zoo. And I'm just not an animal person. So sometimes I would say, well, you know what, let's do this instead and maybe go another, for whatever the reasons. We just never got there, but we would just keep talking about it. Like, oh yeah, you're going to get there one day. Yeah, one day you're going to experience this. And he's an animal aficionado, and he watches National Geographics. That's him and, my husband, they're interested in that kind of stuff. What is it? Your Wild Kratts. And he learns so much from these shows. And so I put forth every effort, and we had some challenges on the way. I'm not going to get into all of that. Even as I was, started up my car and I got a signal, we're on our way, and it says, check your tire pressure. So I had to make a quick stop at Pep Boys, and, I was just determined. I said, nothing is going to get in the way. It wasn't as nice as I had hoped it would be. Like Saturday was perfect weather. It was a little rainy, dreary. It actually was pretty chilly. I wasn't quite dressed for the day. Traffic, so many things. The GPS was trying to throw me off. After a while, I just was like, no, this is not happening. My kid is getting to the zoo today. I don't care what happens. And it really turned out to be worth it. So I would just like you to take a few minutes and talk about your experience at the zoo.
It was so much fun. We got to see so many animals. We got to see monkeys. The thing that interested me most was elephants.
Why the elephants?
Because it's so amazing to see how they eat and how they shoot water and stuff.
How do they eat?
They take their trunk and tie it around the food, and they put the trunk in their mouth with the food and bite the food off.
Oh, okay. And how do they drink?
There was a pond.
Pond?
Pond. There was a pond next to them, and he went over there and put his trunk inside of it, switched it around, and then took the trunk and put it in his mouth and shot it in his mouth.
It's like watching a human vacuum cleaner.
Hmm.
Yeah, I found that pretty fascinating. I just can't take the smell. I just
Well,
the smell.
actually, I didn't see what was wrong with it. I mean, you kept talking about how much the smell was bad. I was like, it doesn't smell bad to me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of animals and zoos and all of this, and it takes me back to some childhood memories and times that I've had to go with your siblings. I say one funny thing about it is, when we were back in Pennsylvania, of course, we had the Philadelphia Zoo, which by this time we lived outside of Philadelphia. And so we'd go there once in a while. But we had this zoo about 15 minutes around the corner from us in Norristown. And I thought I was doing something great. You know, they were smaller, so I bought these season passes for the zoo. You know, where you could pay to go whenever you wanted. And I thought they would be thrilled about that, you know, because they like the Philadelphia Zoo and they like the parks and amusement parks. So I thought I was doing something good. So I took them around there the first time. It was like, okay, cool. Yeah, we've never been around here. Well, I think we must have walked through the whole zoo in about 15 or 20 minutes. And my kids were like, really? Really, Mom? And so after that, it was pretty difficult to get them to go back. But I was like, hey, I paid for these season passes. I don't want to waste them. They're like, Mom, that is like the worst zoo. So I reminded your sister about that yesterday. She said, yes, that was the most horrible zoo. I think the most excitement we found was watching a parrot. Parrot used to talk to us. And
Really? Yeah, I always wanted to see a parrot.
Well, you'll get a chance to. But we were saying things and the parrot was mimicking us. And that was exciting for a while. But after that, they were like, okay, can we go? Like, we can literally walk home from here and spend more time walking home than we can in the zoo. So, anyway.
Did you used to like the parrot?
Yeah, it was pretty fascinating.
Did you used to say stuff to it?
Yeah, little stuff like, Polly want a cracker? And they say, Polly want a cracker? It would just repeat you.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you saw the elephants, the monkeys. We got a lot of videos and pictures. I said, normally it's your dad, the one that's always with the cameras and stuff. And I'm like, well, you cut it out. But I told you, I said, all of this effort, I am going to be a picture taking nut. And so I made you take pictures everywhere, every stand. We have a lot of educational material that was posted, and we got the signs and, videos of the animals. Everything. I definitely.
After a while, I was like, okay, Mom, how many more pictures are you going to take? This is ridiculous. I mean, she would literally, take pictures every couple seconds of, and that zoo was like a big zoo.
And with 2 phones. You're lucky I didn't pull out the tablet. But anyway, so I enjoyed it, and I just enjoyed watching you, just being excited in your little environment. And one of the things that we are doing with this is we're going to create some assignments around it. Like today, he has a writing assignment to do from his experience at the zoo. And so parents, guardians, those of you who are new to homeschooling, you can find all kinds of ways to homeschool, even on the go, in the car, because we had to travel a great distance. I made sure he had some type of activity. So he had the tablet, and he did some of his lessons. He did brain games on Lumosity. He's reading on Kindle. He did some Bible trivia and stuff. So there are many ways that you can, engage your child. And it is, to me, a lot more exciting than just stapling him down to a desk every day. Textbooks, workbooks, he does all of that. It is great. But I have always believed in teaching my children the way that they learn. And so We had a great time. Anything else you would like to share before we get into your next adventure when we were leaving the zoo? Anything else about the zoo?
Yeah, it was like the most exciting adventure. Animals I've been hearing about, cheetahs, and the
Yeah, you
funny,
saw the
the
cheetahs.
the funny thing about the cheetahs was that was the first thing we saw. We went down the path, we saw a cheetah lying in the grass, and it was asleep. And it
then
was
the
that
next
that
ones
type
were.
of it was like
Mhm.
that kind of dreary day. So then we saw the baby cheetah sleep in the thing. So she was like, is all of the animals are gonna be asleep? I sure hope we can see something more than sleeping animals. It is so funny because they was just lying there still, crickets chirping, and it was just like boring day. But someone told us, did you come in from this part of the gate or that the other side? We was like this side. She was like, well, most of the lines and stuff were awake on the other one. We was like, oh, okay, that's good.
It took us a while to get there, but yeah, I don't know. This is just me thinking. I think sometimes the animals just get tired of us humans. They're just like, why y'all coming around just bothering us all the time? Every time I look up y'all taking pictures and stuff, they probably just lie down in silent protest. Like, I can't stop you, but I can keep you from getting a good picture. I'm going over here to go to sleep. Just leave me alone. And then some of the animals had been medicated. We have the signs. I don't know if you read that about DART delivery, how they have to, you know, we'll go back and read it. I did take the pictures of them, but they have to administer medications and things like that, and, you know,
Oh, like in
darts.
Madagascar,
Yeah, like
Marty?
yeah, stuff like that. And so, you know, they go through their stuff too. But
And also the souvenirs I got.
oh yeah, you did leave with some souvenirs.
I got like
Overpriced stuff that I could have gotten from Five Below or from
I
the
got
Dollar
like
Tree.
I got like 4 cups, but my mom said, "All right, so you got like 1,000 cups, so you can get like this one since it came from the zoo, just to say it came from the zoo." So we got that. Then she saw this $6 ruler, but she said it was so cute. She was like,
Well, it was the shape of it, and you have your animals on it.
So she got that. She was like, yeah, $6 ruler. Could have got that from Five Below. But it's from the zoo. Just something to say you got the zoo. So you can talk about it like, yeah, I went to the zoo that day.
Yeah, it's a memory. But anyway, kind of reminds me of when we went to the Universal Soul Circus and how you enjoyed that. And we still have those, you know, the memories and the pictures and the videos. So we'll just stack this right up with that. And I don't want to take too much more time with this, but what happened when you left the zoo? We were heading back to the car. What happened?
Well, I don't know if you heard on this podcast, but I do really like superheroes. My 2 top favorite are Batman and Spider-Man. So while we were walking down the block, going to the car, Spider-Man, a.k.a. Miles Morales, happened to be running down the street with a camera guy.
So what happened?
He was talking and showing us some of his web tricks. And they said, hey, you want to take some pictures with Miles Morales? So I said, sure. I always wanted to take a picture with my favorite superhero. So we took some pictures for about 5 minutes, taking all type of poses and stuff. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I have a lot of pictures and a short video or 2 of the encounter. He was just really funny. He was like, it's my first day on the job. Am I doing okay? And, you know, I'm just a little bit insecure with this. How's this pose? And I just assured him that you'll be okay because no one can see you. No one knows who you are. And he was like, yeah, you're right. Okay. How about this? And he was really friendly. And, you know, there was another child coming up the street and he engaged that father and child. He's like, would you like to take, you know, a picture with Miles Morales? And he's like, sure.
Then he was like, yeah, taking pictures with 2 perfect strangers. He had me and the kid take a picture with him.
Yeah, so
together.
That was really cool. Really, really cool. And so that basically took your day up to another level.
You see, I only had an encounter with a person in a costume one time, but that wasn't so good. We were walking down, and there was people all over with costumes.
It was in New York City,
Yeah.
so people would know to expect stuff like
Yeah.
that. You have
But
to say where
Cookie
you were.
Monster walked up, and I was crying, and I was all scared. I was like, hey, get him away from me. I'm so scared of him. I think we took a picture, but I was crying in the stroller. I was so scared. I was like, Then when he left, I was like, I want to see Spider-Man. And we were looking over for him, but I got to see him yesterday.
The funny thing is, Cookie Monster's costume wasn't so clean. So, as a mom, I was just telling your dad, like, he could have cleaned that costume up better than that to be coming out on the street, around these kids and stuff. But anyway, Christian. All right. Mom's going to clip it here because now I don't really have a chance to do what I was going to do. And I'm going to save that for the next episode. So why don't you just go ahead and close this episode out for me?
Close out?
Yeah, just say what you want to say to end my show that,
Well, after I saw Spider-Man in that costume suit, I said I want to do that when I grow up.
Oh, boy.
And Mom was like, I was like, don't you believe me, Mom? She was like, yeah, but I don't really want to. I was like, what are you going to do if I actually do that when I grow up? She was like, depending on what age you are and what you're doing, I might have to disown you.
Oh, that's not what I meant by close it out, Christian. But all right. So, yeah. Go ahead and close us out now, please, so I can finish laughing and move on.
Anyway, I just had a really, really, really good day yesterday. Really, really good day, having really good days. I'm very happy.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode that I have no idea what I'm going to label it. But until next time.
Maybe the CDJ Comics.
You be blessed and you have a great day.
All right. Be blessed, be encouraged, and we'll talk to you later.